How's it going, everyone? So the Packers have brought in a second player for their top 30 visit, and it is once again another edge rusher. And this one is James Pearce Jr. out of Tennessee. So James Pearce Jr. is currently the sixth best ranked edge rusher in this year's draft on the consensus draft board, and is currently ranked 21st overall out of all the players on the consensus draft board. He comes into this year's draft after participating at the NFL Combine with a 9.38 RAS score. So once again, a very high RAS score, which the Packers do tend to lean towards. Comes in at a height at 6'5", but weighs 245 pounds, so a bit underweight, especially for what the Packers typically go for, and just in general for his current position, just a little bit underweight. Had a vertical jump of 31 inches and a broad jump of 10 feet and 3 inches. But his 40-yard dash, and this is where he shines, he ran a 4.47, so extremely fast. So fast that in this year's NFL draft, he was actually the fastest recorded 40-yard time out of all the edge rushers or all the defensive ends. So he is the fastest edge rusher in this year's draft. Now, as for his time at the collegiate level, he spent 3 years in college, all at Tennessee. So in his first year, he played in 13 games, but he didn't play as many snaps. And he had 5 total tackles, 2 tackles for loss, and 2 sacks. In his second year, got a lot more playing time, still played in 13 games, had 28 total tackles, 15 tackles for loss, and 10 sacks, and also 1 interception. And then in his final year, once again, played all 13 games, had 38 total tackles, 13 tackles for loss, and 7.5 sacks. So a slight dip in that, but still decently productive. And then going on to the PFF side to kind of see a broader range in the grades for him. As you can see, like I said, in his first year at Tennessee, he didn't play too much, and then played 462 snaps in his second year and 464 total snaps in his final year. But in his final year, he had an 87.1 defensive grade, 84.1 run defensive grade, and an 89.4 pass rushing grade. Had 55 total pressures in his final year with 8 sacks, 4 hits, and 43 hurries. So definitely pressured the quarterback a lot. And then looking at his win rate percentage, instead of just the Tennessee Volts, looking at all the pass rushers that were eligible, he actually ranked second out of all of college with a 23% win percentage rate. So definitely very, very good at the pass rush position. Now, so what are some of the pros for him per Bleacher Report? So some of the positives that they've listed for him: he has good height, looks like he has long arms and room for growth on his frame. Impressive athlete who has good movement skills to develop as a pass rusher. Accelerates off the line of scrimmage well to win with speed around the edge, paired with a solid rip move and good bend to turn a tight corner at the top of the rush. Can win by turning speed to power as a pass rusher. Has the agility and change of direction to be an effective looper on line games. He doesn't have to lose ground to move laterally, and occasionally flashed a solid inside spin move as a counter move. Now, as for some of the cons for him, he needs to add size and strength to be an effective run defender at the next level. Block recognition against the run is subpar, especially on the play side of gap runs. He's often late to see and gets underneath pulling players. Timing and accuracy with his hands as a pass rusher is a work in progress. He's shown growth from last year to this year, but is still learning how to effectively use his long limbs when working finesse moves, and struggles to break down in the backfield and will miss tackles and sacks against athletic quarterbacks. So all in all, he's a very, very athletic freak. Case in point, he's got the fastest 40-yard time, but he kind of struggles with, it seems like, some of the fundamentals and also in the run game. So is he better than Shamir Stewart from the first top 30 visit, just from looking at his positives and his stat line and how he produced in college? I would say he's probably over Shamar Stewart, just based off all this and the fact that he's probably better used in certain like pass rushing situations. Not so much first down where there could be a run, considering he seems to struggle and is a little bit underweight. But in obvious pass rushing downs, he seems like he could be a good rotational piece. And this is, of course, just kind of comparing him to Shamar Stewart from yesterday, considering that was the other edge rusher that the Packers brought in. Now, in the end, he is still kind of, it seems to be still a project player in a sense, considering he's very athletic, but kind of struggles or doesn't have the full fundamentals. So he's kind of got by in college due to his sheer athleticism and still has a lot to learn. So once again, if we ended up drafting him, he would probably be a rotational player. Still think at this rate, he seems to be better than Shamar Stewart on paper, even though Shamar Stewart is currently ranked on the consensus draft board as the second overall edge prospect compared to James Pearce, who's the sixth overall or the sixth best edge rusher. I feel like James Pearce is probably over Shamar based off what I'm reading on paper, of course. Now, James Pearce is projected to currently go, per the consensus draft board, to Washington at number 29. So he would be available for the Packers, most likely if no one else went for him. But there is a chance that he could be available for the Packers. But there's also other edge rushers above him on the draft board, on the consensus one anyway, that the Packers could also take. So he's not the top prospect consensus-wise, but he is potentially going to be available, unlike Shamar Stewart, who's potentially going to go in the top 15. But let me know what you think down in the comments. Am I crazy in thinking that James Pearce should be taken over Shamar if they were both somehow available? Let me know down in the comments, especially if you've actually watched both of these players extensively throughout college. But if you liked the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and as always, go Pack Go.